up, people? Shit, man. P. Ross back in the building with the homie.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Micah, aka CMS, and together we are
Graham.
Yeah, that's what's up. And as you see, we have a special guest today. You know what I mean? Woman of the future, entrepot, Negro. You understand what I'm saying? You know, coming up in the world. You see her, you know who she is. The original AC.
Hey.
Angel Chestnut in the building. Let's give her some love.
Thank y'all. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Y'all are too kind. Love you guys.
Oh yeah. Now, we got a very special video today. We're gonna be reviewing André Cymone's sophomore album, Survivin in the 80's. There it is.
Okay, since Mike is showing the album cover, let me go ahead and show my autograph one. Bloop. The same.
Okay. Okay.
Now see, I'm finna go get mad
now. Now she just shut it down with that one.
Right, for sure.
Got an autograph copy.
Yeah.
Ain't mad at that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? We'll let you have the floor, AC.
Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to tell y'all how happy I am to be able to talk music about one of my favorite artists and really hopefully get into the technical aspects of how thorough his production is. And it is this is one of his projects that is my absolute favorite. You know, I love his projects, but this one, because of what he was trying to do, when he was trying to do it, the stuff that he was saying, and how applicable it is to today, it really does stand the test of time. And I'm just truly excited because so often when I talk about him, the first thing someone wants to say is, oh, that's Prince's best friend. It's a lot more to him and his artistry than being from Minneapolis and being one of the architects of that sound we've come to love.
For sure.
Well said.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so go ahead.
CMS.
Okay, Micah.
Oh, well, hey, that was well said. Let me just say, my first time discovering this album was, I want to say back in 2004. Me and P. Ross's mutual friend, Skip, he actually let me borrow the 3 albums that Andre did back in the day. And this was one of them. And I knew who André Cymone was, just never heard of none of his music. And so I didn't really gravitate right away to his music right away. So, but I always thought it was, I always respected him, as a musician, as a producer. I can hear the actual talent, but years later, I went back and revisited, those albums, and definitely have a little bit more appreciation for him because I have a different ear now, as I get older. So that's pretty much it. I gotta say about that for now. So.
Hey, B. Ross, can I go back and tell a little bit about how I came to know his music?
Yeah.
So I've been an André Cymone fan since probably the first time I saw him in an article in Right On Magazine, probably 79, 80. And so when he announced that he was going to be going solo, I was super excited because I had some suspicions about his level of involvement in one of the projects that I've heard, and his solo work pretty much solidified what I was thinking I was hearing. Again, I wasn't there. It's just an opinion. Coming up in the music realm, like Mike, I have a little bit of a different ear, so I hear stuff that people may miss. And when I first saw his first project, I really latched on to his futuristic theme, what he was trying to do, and the obvious hard rudder turn he was trying to do away from anything that sounded like what everybody else was doing. I was into Devo. I was into the Stray Cats. I was into that whole new wave thing that was happening from the UK. Being from South Philly, punk rock was really a popular thing, and it wasn't a racial thing. Black kids, white kids, all the kids who really didn't quite fit in gravitated to that kind of underground type flavor and the rebellion. And I kind of really love the Dirty Mind album because it kind of touched on that middle finger up. I don't care what nobody think. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I ain't got to be like you. And I'm still okay. And so when he came out with this one really was totally different from his prior stuff. And his vocals, he was singing a little bit different. But years later, I discovered he had an executive producer named Larkin Arnold. I don't know who that guy is. I had no idea. So it was really an eye-opener for me to know that anybody else was actually executive producing this with him. I've only known him to do his albums by himself. And the one thing about him, he plays all his instruments most of the time, unless he uses a band. This album was the first time he had a band, and he had other people on the cover. So are we going to walk through the actual product, song by song? Because I can jump right into that as well if you want, or just keep it high level for now, and we'll go play from.
I mean, we could go song for song.
We can go song for song. And you're the André Cymone, expert. So
not expert, because listen, I just like what he does, and there's so many other folks out there who do too, but trying to find all of us. I'm an aficionado for sure. So the first thing, Micah, can you hold your cover up? Because I want the graphics to show without the penmanship on it. So right off the bat, what I really gravitated to with this product is with the last one, red seemed to be a recurring theme. And in the first album, it was red and black, and then the gold futuristic thing. With this one, he has that white background. And for a long time, I never even noticed there were people in the background of his band. And it seems like with his last 3 albums, he's kept with that. So I don't know if Hayes designed this album. I didn't research it before this call. And he's, I want to say, a Minneapolis native. He's done some apprentice stuff too. And it's just very subtle. The military kind of new wave force theme, it was kind of corny, but I liked it because it was cheeky. And he had changed his hair. And if you look right there to his right shoulder, that's his sister Linda. Linda played in Grand Central with Morris and Prince and Andre and, in all of the iterations of the band. And what I noticed, he has a balanced look, but there's also one of his cousins in here too. Right next to Linda is his cousin Bobby. And I want to say the other male on his other side is his cousin. I can never say his name. I don't know if it's Joa or Jua, but that's his cousin as well, if I'm not mistaken. And then the gentleman on the far right is John. John was in our group. John Bam Bam Morgan. John Bam Bam Morgan. And then the other.
Now, was he the drummer?
He's a drummer.
Was he the drummer?
He's a drummer.
Okay.
And actually, P. Ross, you had shared that you had seen Jody Watley. I think at some point, John was out there with them. I don't know if he was the videographer or the drummer or what, because I know Andre in the videos played the drums. But yeah, he's very talented, and he played on a lot of other acts as well. So just looking at the uniform, just the seriousness of it, and then Micah, flip that bad boy around. Flip the album cover around. Boom. That right there. Nice. I must have stared at it, and I want to say it was Tower Records. I was like, what? This was so dope. And it was so telling for me because we had a lot of craziness going on in the 80s with the economy, Reaganomics, and we had just had probably a couple years before. You can take it down, Micah. The 3 Mile Island thing. I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember that, but there was almost a meltdown with this nuclear plant.
Right, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
It was in Pennsylvania, and being in Philly, we were doing nuclear drill. I was scared. And I don't know the exact release date. I know it was in the fall of this album, but it was a deep concept, and some of my friends were like, I ain't trying. Right. We want to have fun. I was like, no, but you might want to listen and take note of what's going on. So the album art, for me, I just loved it. I loved the graphics. I loved, right off the bat, the impactful the messaging, and I really don't know what it was because I've never talked to him about it, but it just seemed like it was calling to attention we got some serious stuff going on, and we might want to start paying attention to that.
Oh yeah, the 80's definitely was like the time for where people thought the year 2000 was so far away, and all kind of stuff is gonna happen. All the conspiracy theories, all that stuff came out in the 80's. So it was a really special time, though. It was a special time for sure.
It was definitely that. So also, I want y'all to take note of this. Go back to his name, Michael. Flip it to the front. For the graphics, for branding. Branding is my thing. Look at how his name looked. And the A and the C. And then his next album was AC. See, I took note of there was a fluency between this and the second album, but it wasn't on the first one. And, you know, stuff like that, I always found fascinating when artists, like, I really wanted to get their whole concept of album from the outside to the inside. Now, Micah, let us both go inside the album and address this.
Oh boy.
Look here. Now, from a very early age, this is my guy. I wanted to marry him. When I found out Prince was a little dude, I was like, Prince, if you ain't got no sisters in your videos, I'm gonna have to transfer my attention. But this right here, I immediately was like, where are his friends? My brother was like, hold up, wait a minute, because anything that, you know, was remotely not uber masculine, he had something to say. And then I caught an attitude. First of all, you need to pump your brakes, because he had something to say now it was sexy. But before then, I was like, But years later, he had said that it was like a joke. Like Howard the Duck, I don't know who that was. I don't get it. Look, when I tell you I don't think that dude gave no F's about what anybody thought.
Right.
If you have any question, he had no fear. So with Micah, now you actually got some, you know, you hit the gym. Would you wear this?
I can't see me wearing nothing like that. No.
You know, he didn't care. Like, he didn't care. He didn't do anything for his masculinity, but also because I love to reference Man of the Future, which is a song on here. Check out, I don't know if these are headphones. I don't know if it's an earpiece, but it's signifying wirelessness.
Yeah.
What do we do on a daily right now?
Yeah,
we either have Bluetooth, and I was going to wear my wireless headphones, but I wasn't sure, or is that an earpiece? Again, he's always looking forward and always a little bit ahead of the curve there. I just thought that was so telling. Looking back, and you're right, Perry. I thought we'd be flying around like the Jetsons by now.
Right, exactly.
I used to think that too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, when did y'all come to knowing what this guy was all about? Or can I just continue to ramble on? Because I've talked the whole segment about this album.
My thing was kind of interesting because, like, the guy Skip, he was like best friends with my older brother, and he was like always into Andre, and I'd be like, whatever. You know what I mean? Even with like AC, I'm like, whatever. He got that's all he got is the Dance Electric and shit. So I want to say about 10 years ago, I met a guy named Dave Johnson, friend of me and Micah's. And
Shout out to Dave.
He was a
salute to Dave. Is that our what do you call that? Our what is it? Silent partner? Is that the silent partner?
No.
What was the hook for Dave? Dave Cymone. We called
Dave Cymone.
Wow.
Yeah, we actually gave him that
Yeah,
nickname.
Dave Cymone. So he was like this big Andre fan, and I'd be like, okay,
that's dope.
But no, wait till I get to the story though.
Oh God, okay, never mind.
So I'm like,
I'm gonna stay quiet on that one.
I said, okay, so I had got this 3 CD set of Andre. I got Living in the Way, Survivin the 80's, and AC. So I went through them thoroughly, and I'm like, okay, this is all right. You know what I'm saying? I could get with this. So you get back to Dave, we talking about it, and I'm noticing inconsistencies like in his story with Andre. I'm like, wait, hold up. How can you be an Andre fan and you don't have any of the albums? So when I had rambled off like each track off of the first album, you know what I'm saying? Michael was kind of like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And Dave couldn't do it. So I'm like,
wait a minute.
I'm like, this guy ain't no Andre fan. Like, nah. So that's been like the running thing with him for years. Like, you ain't no real Andre fan.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So you know, that's when I really started listening.
Well, I'll say this.
Take up for him. Go ahead, take up for him.
Yeah, no. No, I think he did tell me that he did have a couple of his albums back in the day, or if he still does have them. But he's a fan, but I don't think he's as thorough as you, Angel. You know, just in my opinion. You know, respectfully. You know, much props to Dave, but I'll say this: his favorite was the AC album, just like mine. But I'm just saying, you like the way that you kind of go into detail, you know, like you said with the, you know, like the gas mask, which I've never even looked at it like that. That's why when you,
it's deep.
That's why I'm like, I'm all in.
He holding it on the cover. He holding it on the cover with the gas behind him.
Man, yeah.
Hello, and then it's almost like those people are ghosts of people who are no longer with us. You know what I mean? Like it's a three-dimensional message. And then the irony is I went on and joined the Marine Corps, and that the epaulet is what they call it, but that is, if you look at our dress blue uniform, is very similar to that. The color of red, the crimson, the way his the threading is around his flap. I was like, yeah. And Andre's sister, who isn't on the album, Sylvia, she actually designed these stage outfits for them as well. And it's just a really, really cohesive what he was trying to do. And that story was interesting about your boy. So maybe he just kind of liked him on the surface, but didn't really do the deep dive. And again, it's hard for me to meet anybody who looks this far into it. So to have had conversations online with folks who actually liked an album outside of AC, because for me, his AC album for the longest was like how a lot of people view Purple Rain, to include me, for Prince. Like, you ain't really no Andre fan. Because I literally had someone, this was like two people, they're long-term Prince fans. They said, you know, I didn't know he lived with Andre's family for that long. Because they had no interest in Andre. You know, they have no interest. It's like, and it's so irritating for me to have people just overlook his involvement like that.
But that's like the backstory, though. Like if you don't know the backstory, then everybody should have known that.
Hello, I mean, just on the surface.
Like even if you didn't listen to it, but everybody.
But they had no interest. These are people. Some of these people are from Minneapolis, and that was the thing. His own town didn't really have that love for him like we did from Philly and Detroit. I would say Detroit was above us. And Atlanta, I met so many people in Minneapolis from different cities. It was like, oh yeah, I used to, because we write on magazine, Black Beat, Ebony, Jet, you know, they kept us in the loop. He was known to us. And so, but for me, it was beyond the fact that he was cute. I really was into what he was trying to do with his music.